Alrighty, hello and welcome to the CREEDCAST. It is Friday, the 5th of September. We are here for the squad show round four in Perth. Mineral Resources Park is where your Yartapuulti Football Club go over to take on the West Coast Eagles or Waalitj. I'm going to mispronounce that again. Waalitj Marawar.
Waalitj Marawar.
Yeah. Um, in Sunday afternoon, 4:35 p.m. local time here in South Australia, over in the west, to take on the Eagles. Weather before I bring Jamie in apart from him correcting my butchering of that name. The weather over there is looking interesting. We've got a bit of weather around over the next couple of days, storms, rainy weather. Sunday is bringing with it 17-degree temperatures, very high chance of showers, most likely in the morning and afternoon, with a range of 4 to 15 mil. So that could be interesting.
Fantastic.
Yeah, not super windy. 15 to 25, 20 to 30 like numbers. So I've seen worse as far as the wind stuff goes, but yeah, weather could be interesting. So, Jamie, good evening. We have West Coaster Unchanged going in. We are one change with Kirsty Lamb out with what we think is hamstring injury, and Cheyenne Hammond coming in. Good evening, Jamie. It's interesting times at the club while we've got some hope. The injuries keep biting with our team at the moment, it feels like.
Good evening to you, and good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to everyone listening. Um, yeah, very interesting. The show goes on for Port Adelaide. We go to gain another 4 points out west. While the injuries bite, we're still getting some players back.
Hmm.
It's an exchange at the moment rather than a loss.
Yeah,
So we're
yeah.
balancing the books as well as we can. But yeah, probably prefer Kirsty Lamb in,
Hmm.
but happy to see Hamo come back in and see what she's got and how she's improved upon in the off season.
Yeah, yeah, we loved. She was one of those ones that really grew as the side grew in confidence last year. It was like the likes of Hamo and your Maria Maloney's and some of those ones. Apart from the stars that everyone talks about, though they are stars to us, but like they were like there was a few of those ones, and Hamo was one in particular that really impressed us. I think down the stretch last year, snuck a vote in here and there in our Player of the Year votes as well. We were really enjoying her work, so she was one that I was really disappointed to see was injured in preseason and was going to be a few weeks back, but. She hasn't taken long to get back into the side, but yeah, I guess before we have a brief look at the sides, just for me, Kirsty Lamb being out after because she's probably spent a bit more time inside with Piper Window going out of the side, so we're taking two real grunt players out that can really get in and win the ball and that kind of stuff, and we do have some very very good talent in there still, but there's still I found Kirsty's work really, really good in the last few weeks. She does a lot of tough
Hmm.
work, and obviously Piper, before she got injured, was really developing into that kind of player as well. So, how do you feel? I mean, just looking, I mean, we're coming up against a reason. I mean, the Ella Roberts uh, centered. She's the star of the piece, but they've gone. West Coast have
Hmm.
improved slowly over the last year and 18 months under Daisy Pearce as well, with some genuine stars in that midfield.
Yeah, West Coast have a path that they want to take under Daisy Pearce. They've been involved in a few closer games, lower scoring games. Uh, but while Ella Roberts is the star attraction over there, they've got a couple of other players who feature in some stats packs in regards to the league.
Mm-hmm.
Um, their halfbacker in Charlotte Thomas is one of the better rebound 50 players on averages. So they've got a couple of people in and around the place. I believe it is Jessica Wrench is up there for average tackles in the league. So um, a few pieces, but looking at their clearance game, when you speak about Kirsty Lamb, because she's one of our better clearance players, she also offers a bit of poise, strength in the contest, but also she generally has makes good decisions with the ball. So yeah, we're going to miss her. We're going to miss her senior leadership. Thankfully, Cheyenne Hammond, although coming off of an injury, she's 27, so she has a bit more experience in way of age and life experience, and she's been in the league for quite a number of years.
Mm-hmm.
But thankfully, with Kirsty Lamb going out, West Coast actually aren't averaging that many clearances in comparison to us. They average 18 clearances so far, where we average just under 24. So it's nearly a 6 clearance benefit to us. And that's while they average nearly 10 more hitouts a game than we
Mm,
do with the Matilda Schultz. Just going through their stats, it looks like they're running a two ruck model
mm,
um, with Liz McGrath and Sarah LeKay averaging 20 and 16 respectively, whereas we're just pretty Matilda Schultz heavy. Um, that doesn't necessarily upset me because we all know what Matilda Schultz can do against anyone. And again, the theme that I'll bang on about while trying to get Chloe Gaunt experience at the level is I don't think we actually lose that much if she's losing the hit out game because I think we have the pieces, even without a Kirsty Lamb, to cover for that on the ground and in the clearance game.
mm. Liz McGrath, a member of our inaugural squad as well, by the way. So coming up against someone that a few of them will know.
Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, and part of that, some of that list management would have been made. I don't know. I think she went to. No, I don't remember her going from to
She went
West
from
Coast
Port to
Station.
North.
Port to North, was it? Okay, yeah. I was just trying to read there, but yeah, she, yeah. I mean, they haven't come up against it, so their hit out differential, while respectful of who they've played so far, they haven't come up against Matilda Scholes yet, who uh, kind of hit her straps a little bit last week, and she'll be kind of humming with a bit of like now that she's got that performance under her belt, it's like okay, she's in the season now. Um, she wins a lot of her own ball as well.
Mm,
Obviously, we know that she's like that set plus 7 clearance differential we have over the West Coast average is what I think Scholes had 7 last week. So, um, and yeah, while we take Kirsty Lamb out of there, Hamo's the talent there, and we've just got a good group in there still. And like I said, I think Matilda Scholes, who is rightly getting kind of those plaudits as being a bit of a unicorn player, she's just a massive point of difference comparative to your more traditional ruck rover setup because she's going to do so much more work. And then you like, I also like when we look at the named side at least, they've actually named Woodland as a follower alongside Maloney. So we've seen Woodland do a lot of work in that
hmm
space as well. She can,
Strong.
yeah, she's strong. She's no stranger to the contest and stuff as well. So, and then you look at a center line with the likes of if we can keep Goody playing up the field a little bit more. Derek, obviously, I mean, copy and paste somewhere into our votes every week.
That's right. Yeah.
Bo could use a game where she gets a bit more ball again, but she's obviously I like loving her work as well. So yeah, with some of those little movements we've been making, moving players around, finding different roles for them. Certainly, Woodland's really I'm like enjoying the fact that we're utilizing her that way a little bit more. I think you and I have spoken about it already this year that she's sometimes probably becoming a bit of an unsung hero, which is crazy to say about a former leading goal kicker and All Australian and as such for Woodland. But but I think I'd imagine she's probably enjoying her footy a lot though, being able to be such an integral, plug and play role into integral roles in different
Yeah.
ways. I mean, she got herself a goal last week after all that work as well. So, I
Well,
mean,
we forgot to mention that she was part of that impressive play where it was tied up on the boundary in the
yeah,
pocket and she handballed over the top to Gemma, which was the Juzzy
yes,
Mills-Robinson goal, I
hmm
believe. Yeah,
it was.
yeah. So while we mentioned she's not really getting her time in the sun, albeit she kicked her own goal last week, yeah, she was also involved in that impressive piece of play, which was nice.
Mhm.
Didn't give her flowers for. So we'll do it now.
Yes, yeah, we will because that was an incredible piece of play. And while it was like Juzzy gets the finish and like Gemma's getting the direct assist, it was Woodland like flicking a hand pass over her head that really unlocked that play, which is ingenious stuff and just shows that kind of her game intelligence as well. So I will be if they do genuinely go with her in the middle, like even more than she already has at times this year, that'll be really really fun and a difficult matchup as well, just because of the like she's such a big presence as far as her like height and as such as a midfielder. Like if you can play that kind of role, um,
But she's a tackling machine as well.
mhm,
She's averaging just under 6 tackles a game so far.
yeah,
Um, second behind Abby Darrick out of the non-injured players.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, Parker Window only has one game of averages, which are nice in a couple of regards.
Yeah.
It'd be nicer to have her out there though at the same time.
Hmm. Does make you really really kind of salivate at the thought of this side when we get to actually get to a full, like, as closest to a full complement of players as possible to pick from, because there's some real good talent sitting on the bench, but then or out in the wings injured. But when you look at what we're putting out in the field this week, there's still a lot to love. We saw a marked improvement. Again, opposition, going from Kangaroos to Gold Coast is as far as polar opposites as you can possibly get in this league, based on ladder position at the moment. But we did see a little bit more dynamism in how we move the ball, like moved forwards around and got like opportunities for different forwards, and like Gemma working. Well, Gemma was allowed to work a little bit more, just purely in the forward 50, with other players moving, probably getting up. I
Hmm.
mean, she does still, she is just naturally that kind of player that can move up the field and get, like, find her ball, but she was able to move
Yeah,
inside the,
inserts her presence when
yeah,
required is how I kind of see it.
yeah, yeah, exactly. That is exactly right. But last week she was able to stay predominantly and be in the forward 50 arc to get those opportunities to kick 4 goals, five. Chloe, we obviously like the Chloe Gaunt and Matilda Scholes, like just being able to, pinch hit Matilda out, like we'll get Matilda out a break out of the ruck, and Gaunt could go in there, and just simply because Gaunt's, obviously she's young, she'll grow in as far as her skills and understanding of the game and the game speed and just how to play the ruck as an AFL level player. But she's obviously, just as a pure physical presence, she demands accountability as a second ruck, and then she can go forward, take a strong mark overhead, and kick a goal, as we saw last week. So there's like a little bit more to
Hmm.
love about. And Indy Tahoe has been named up forward again, which we loved that kind of switcheroo last
I
week.
like that.
Unlocked by being
Hmm.
able to get Borg back. Sachi Simon is back there. Alyssa Brooke, Jermac Brooksby, like that back line's really strong. Emily Borg, obviously, the straw that stirs the drink is just how we refer to her now, because that's how important she is. But yeah, like Emily
The
Borg, just,
straw.
yeah. I
So-
mean, it doesn't sound like, I need
Don't
to
know
find
about
a
that
better
for a
one.
nickname.
Yeah. But we'll refer to her as that way on the podcast when we can give it the context. It won't go on a shirt though, because it's just it's just like just Borg's face and the straw. I'll be like, oh, I don't know if I feel good about that one, but
What's going on here?
but that, like, unlocking that Tahoe going up forward, because she's such a good strong mark. Obviously, a great kick, like we saw, some of that kind of link up play, like that probably helped unlock Houghton a bit more deeper forward, because she could play some of that upfield
Yeah.
link up play, and then she obviously kicked 3 goals of her own last week as well. So, are you feeling similar to me about just feeling a bit more positive about? Because I mean, I had my concerns about that forward line out of the practice match into those first couple of weeks, but obviously was still trying to compartmentalize it with like the opposition as well. But the Tahoe move forward, I think, has really kind of just unlocked a little bit of mobility and dynamism in that group.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it'll be interesting to see if she remains there or if she kind of swings around during the game.
Hmm.
I was having a look before, and um, West Coast have three players all on 4 goals. Kayla Dalglish, um, Ella Roberts, of course, and Lucia Painter. So they've got 4 goals each. We've got Gemma on 6, and then Matilda kicked the 4 and he kicked the 3. So,
Yeah.
what do you take out of that? I mean, that's all predominantly from one game on our end, whereas while Roberts, Painter, and Dalglish probably have kicked their ones consistently across the first 3 games and then a 2 game somewhere like that.
Mm.
It does go to show that they're maybe trying to use a few different avenues to goal while also, they haven't had a big score game yet as such. So I think, yeah, Indy Tahoe being available to go to the defense if we need another strong presence down there. But in saying that, with the clearance statistical dominance, you would imagine that we would want to frank that by having a Tahoe Houghton tandem up forward from clearance, assuming that Schultz is in the
Hmm.
middle. And then if say Tahoe or Houghton are taking a break and Schultz is forward, Gaunt is in the ruck, then we can potentially take advantage of them there. I mentioned Charlotte Thomas before. Is one of the better rebound 50 players in the comp in terms of averages at the moment. They've also got Emma Swanson, who is 6.3 average intercept possessions, so third best when comparing Port Adelaide and West Coast. Um, a bit of experience back there too. She's 173 centimeters, so I think Gemma Houghton is about 175, if I remember rightly. But look, I have confidence in us. I almost got onto it when we touched on it in our review the other
Mm.
day because when you brought it up, I had the averages for statistical numbers across the teams, and it's actually fairly even. If anything, I think we pipped them in a number of stats. While again, they're averaging more disposals. That seems to be a theme against our three previous opponents. So we're still aiming to get the job done in as fewer disposals as possible.
Mm.
So yeah, I'm pretty confident. We average more kicks, which I would assume means more meters per gained, more inside 50s, which look that would probably come off of a greater clearance average as well. Um, Efficiency inside 50 also helps. Obviously, yeah, last week probably bumps our numbers up a little bit, but we've both played three games, and um, I don't think West Coast opponents will probably be at the top end of the ladder that they've played for the first 3 weeks,
Mm.
if I can remember correctly. If I bring it up
Um,
now,
they have
I know they
Essendon.
played St Kilda.
Yeah, so their first result was a 15-point win over Gold Coast. So there's a good point of comparison. They lost to Essendon by five
Mm,
points, who Essendon are 3-0, but who Essendon have played so far, I'm not exactly sure. I mean, the great thing,
mm,
the one thing we do know is they haven't played in North Melbourne, and North Melbourne as fully fit and firing as they were when they played us. And they have played a Gold Coast and they beat them by 15 points. So make of that what you will. Scoring shots against that Gold Coast side were even. Gold Coast just kicked 2 goals 8 versus West Coast 5-5. So that's where the win came from. In that was their opening match. Uh, the 5-point loss against Essendon might be good this year. They're 3-0, but they're certainly below, as far as percentage goes, they're a bit below the teams that are leading the way at the top with the North Melbournes with their 500 percentage and whatnot. And then yeah, they beat West Coast. West Coast beat St Kilda last week by 14 points. So yeah, St Kilda side. St
mm.
Kilda and obviously
So
Gold Coast we know are
yeah.
bad. St Kilda beat Adelaide in week one, but they've lost the last two. So they're on a similar win loss
Mm.
record, same win loss record to us, and actually below us on the table. So yeah, it's kind of hard to gauge that opponent mix so far. The Gold Coast one is a point of comparison, but as I said, the one thing that they have not played is a team that hasn't lost in 18 months like we did. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's why some
yeah.
of those
So
statistical
Essendon
averages
played
are mixed.
Richmond and GWS, sorry, apart from West Coast, and Richmond and GWS are yet to win a game after
Yeah.
three matches. So it probably adds a bit more context to Essendon's season, and
Mm.
West, like you said, West Coast lost to them, having what's that, 6 scoring shots to 11. So yeah, again, I do go in with confidence. We played out west really well last year after quarter time, obviously in better conditions and what it seems to be in line for us on Sunday. It may get a bit wet, um, but even still, if it is a bit wet and it is a bit more contested, then I still back our players, sans Kirsty Lamb, to get it done.
Yeah.
I'm just looking for contested possessions. So we averaged two more contested possessions than them, 117 to 115.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. And I think
not much, but
we've
I
tapped
back
into.
us.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think we've tapped into a bit more of what we like. I know Arnell was a bit disappointed about how we started and some little things in that first game against Frio. Yeah, and we certainly were as well with how we were just a little bit slow out of the blocks and let Frio get a game like a lead on us early that we kind of just never were able to peg back. So if we'd started that game a little bit better, we could be looking at being 2-1 with that obvious loss against North Melbourne. But since then, obviously the Gold Coast game, while opponents still God knows how many times I'm going to say it, but opponent is acknowledged, you still sometimes need that kind of weighted bat, so to speak, to help you practice, or just get some rhythm,
Mm-hmm.
get some flow. And we got that last week. There's going to be a little bit of confidence in the legs now for a few of those that after a tough first couple of weeks, they were like, no, we are, you go out and beat the pants off a team by 68 points and score a day long record of points in the AFLW. That just genuinely is going to give you a belief again that you can do this thing, that you can play football at a decent level. And then you can go out west and play a team that's sitting in a similar kind of spot. Obviously, a game ahead and some percentage ahead. But as far as the way you look at it, like we've just looked at those results for both teams, and we kind of look at it and go, look, I don't think we're too far away from them, if not being ahead. And obviously, I mean, geez, if we had a strong, like more of a full complement of players to pick from, I'd be even more confident. But as I sit here now, I'm still feeling reasonably confident that if we go out there and apply ourselves the way we did against Gold Coast, and apply ourselves the way we have at the best of times in some of those games earlier in the year as well. With this team, when they do switch on, are a tough team to play. And what we've added to the being a tough team to play, that was the DNA from day one, is we are finding a way to control matches more, hold the ball, mark the ball, pick targets, and find a way forward that isn't just chaos ball.
I agree. That was most prevalent last week, of course, against Gold Coast. The way that it wasn't all just purely chaos, and it wasn't all just straight line footy either. We
Mm-hmm.
were looking to change angles. We were looking to link up. And look, we did throw caution to the wind on several occasions, which is normal in my opinion for a game of Australian rules football. Just quickly going through their kind of two key goal kickers, both 19-year-olds in Dalglish and Painter. Both their heights are 174 and 161 centimeters. So I'm just looking through our defenders as well. Borg at 177, Alyssa Brooke at 176, Jermac 177. But even if you want to go small, Sachi Syme is at 165. She's been a bit more of an interceptor. But again, say it's an Ebony O'Day. Um, I think she's got them covered in the air as well. At 167. So uh, yeah, I think no matter what matchup, I think we can negate their forwards in the air and on the ground as far as I see it. Because I think as well as that, Jermac, for a taller player, Emily Borg, I think they're good below their knees as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, they've absolutely proven that. I think Borg, it's time and time again something I'm so impressed with is once the ball comes to ground, she like goes after it just as hard, and like even if it's like not quite getting, like she just makes it impossible. Oh, not impossible, but just really really tough work on whoever her opponent is to actually gather the ball. And as soon
Mm.
as they gather it, because she's
Yeah,
got the
she's a pretty
speed to
good
stay with
ball.
them, she's going to tackle them right away. So the ball comes, and obviously those other players back like Brooksby and Jermac have both proven to have really really good clean pickups, and then their ability to burst away and take the ball back, even just on the run outside of the like that danger zone very very quickly and find a target, or just get the ball forward and relieve pressure. And then obviously Sachi's just ability to intercept and read the ball has been quite impressive this year. So there's some good different points of skill and ability down there that kind of are working together very very well, and then sets up what we can do going forward. And as I've said, kind of off the top, I'm feeling a little bit better about what we're doing down forward with that Indy Tahoe switch as well.
I agree. I'm just looking at another dimension of how both sides want to play because I obviously haven't seen West Coast play at all
Yeah,
this season, as I imagine would be the case for you.
I just
But
took about
just
20 minutes of
looking
the
at, I
game,
mentioned
but there was, I think they opened the
20
season.
minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, I said I was watching a
Yeah,
little bit.
right.
Yeah, so did I get anything out of
Okay.
that? No, but I was just watching
No.
opening round. But
I heard Ella Roberts' name and that
yeah,
was about it.
and she's very very good at the football.
Um, yeah, she is good at the footballs. I think she's about 19 years old herself. So, yeah, some of the movers and shakers in terms of an offensive sense are the younger players, which, look, from our side of the fence, it kind of makes sense as well.
Hmm.
Some of our movers and shakers are younger players as well. It's just the way that it is. But off the
Mhm.
top, I mentioned that they were higher in disposals. They're also 2.5% better disposal efficiency wise, and they also average more marks than we do, 53.3 to 51. So just by going by the stats, I would say that they are looking to retain possession maybe a bit more than we are. And I think that you mentioned, I think it was during last week's or the review of last week's game, you mentioned that tackling and pressure is kind of in our DNA, and it's the cornerstone of how we went about our footy early days, and
Mhm.
that's how we have always wanted to be known. So I think there's an opportunity there as well. If West Coast are trying to possess the ball, we really need to lock into our one wood, and that is pressure and tackling, because then with our improved link up and transition football that we showed against Gold Coast, and it'll be interesting to see if we can replicate it again, of course, against an opponent who, look, as it sits now, are a one win ahead of us and in the eight on, 40 odd percent more as well.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, just going by the stats, it would seem that they want to retain possession a bit more, kick mark, which is fair enough. You
Yeah.
know, you see teams all over, men, women, otherwise, going for different strategies. And if they want to try and keep their hands on the footy at large portions of the game, yeah, we need to lock in
Mm.
and cut off their space as well as we can and put as much pressure on them as possible.
Yeah.
To turn it over, obviously, which we still average more turnovers, funnily enough, probably because we're just that bit more chaotic. But once we do turn it over in our favour,
Mm.
we need to build on that link up transitional play that we improved in against
Yeah.
Gold Coast.
I still think. What did you say their disposal efficiency average was for the year?
I was going to 59.8.
Yeah. So that's what's interesting is like
I said it's 2.5% better than ours. I didn't
that's
actually
right. I
say
need it.
what theirs
Yeah.
was.
Because we like, it's hard to quantify where the averages after a, especially with the way the
Oh, it's
fixture
actually more
is,
than that.
because
3.5.
we again that Kangaroos game we were Kangaroos well and truly dominated. That's where a lot of turnovers come from. Disposal efficiency down because we just don't have the ability. Like the Kangaroos are just a better team. They're going to put the pressure on, make it hard to get.
And we turned it over a shitload in that game, which
Yeah,
would kill our disposal efficiency
yeah, and
averages.
with just
So it
such
probably levels out across the 2 weeks, doesn't it?
yeah, and that's where and so last week against Gold Coast we went at 61.6% and took 61 marks. So the six so um yeah, it could just be all like it's hard to it's good to have that data, but then it's also hard to read too much into that data. Like when so my point being, if we're that close to them, that Kangaroos game could account for a bit of that, and then we just have to keep trying to improve and keep within that level. And then, like if West Coast were just dominating in some of those areas, I'd be like, okay, there is a bit of gap. But at the moment, I'm kind of going. I think to me, I read that, and that this is entirely coming from a biased sport fan trying to talk myself into things. But I think it also comes from a little bit of um, reasoned, hopeful thought that that Kangaroos game was pretty rough, obviously, and a lot of statistical. It's such a short data set so far this year on the season. Some of a 1 or 2% difference, or a few marks difference across the year is going to be significantly affected by us having played the best side of the last 2 years, whereas West Coast haven't. If they played the best side of the last 2 years and had a couple of rough fixtures one back to back, I'd sit there and go and they'd done reasonably well statistically. I'd be like, okay, cool, but I haven't seen them do that yet. So I read out those stats being reasonably close and go, okay, that's actually pretty good for us because we've played the best side of the last 2 years. I keep trying to hyperbolize the Kangaroos a little bit because that's just who they are. They haven't lost since 2023. That's
Hmm.
incredible. So that's kind of the team you
Yeah.
play, and that will make a little bit of a lean in the stats when you're this early in the season.
Yeah, that's right. We finished the game against Gold Coast with 61.6% disposal efficiency as a team. So that's where I'm more wanting it. I'm wanting us to push more into the 60s now
Yeah.
and hold there. Obviously, if we could get it into the 70s as an average
Hmm.
as a team, that would be phenomenal. But it's probably a little unrealistic at this point in time. If we're pushing into the 60s, we'll know that we're having a pretty decent game.
Hmm. And yeah, maybe getting to the mid 50s in marks, if not more. Yeah,
That
six,
would be fantastic.
60 plus
Yeah.
disposal percentage and, 50 to 55 marks or more. You're probably having a
Yeah.
reasonable game and giving it a good shake at winning the game.
Yeah, well, our average marks are 51, and we finished with 61 against Gold Coast. So
Mm.
55 would probably be a fairly reasonable ask, I would have thought. And again, if we're in the 50s, around that 55 mark, again, yeah, we'll know that we've had a good game. Um, so yeah, I hope we've filled the listeners or consumers. Dare I say, not customers.
No.
No, we're open and free for the women's season. Plus, that would give a connotation to another football club that I just
They
want to
haven't
bring
done
up. I
themselves.
just want to shoehorn in here to shit on them.
Oh,
But
they don't
yeah,
need any help
no.
shitting on. They're shitting all over themselves right now, to be honest. So,
Yeah, they've got their dick and their pussy all covered in shit. Sorry, that's inappropriate. Team America reference.
yeah, I
But
heard
yeah,
I heard the
I
voice
hope.
and was like, yeah, that's it. Some Trey Parker and Matt Stone
Oh,
stuff right there.
terrible, terrible movie in the context of 2025, but it was a yeah,
But
slamming jamming movie back when it came out. But anyway, I digress. I hope we've filled everyone with a bit more confidence than they perhaps had, or a bit more awareness of just where we're at and where West Coast are really at, Waalitj,
mm,
Marawar. But yeah, I kind of I kind of expect to win now.
yeah, yeah.
I just know how good our best players are. If I can just calm down my computer screen there, I'm getting excited. But yeah, I just know how good our top end is, and now, you know, albeit with troops still yet to come back, the players who are in the team have gained a bit of consistency now with each other. Sowden and Patterson are still in, Gaunt for that matter as well. Um, you know, Alyssa Brooke has played a few games consistently now.
Mm,
So, um, and they're probably at, like, for want of a better term, our bottom end
mm,
players, just mostly due to experience. And I think they've put in some decent efforts over the last 2 to 3 weeks. So I just know how good our top end and even our mid range players can be and have shown, to be fair, if not across the three games, 2 out of the 3 games that we've played.
yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. I 100% agree. And yeah, I mean, I've probably been. Wouldn't say I'm confident. I'm just reason. I think this is a really, really good test, and I think, they're at a similar spot to where we are, and going out west. A little manifest destiny, going out west. Although I don't think there's no genocide's been committed on the way, unlike a little American history just injected in there. But we're just going out there for 4 points. But I do feel a reasonable level of confidence that we can create a contest. I mean, it's funny that we've been out there to play them every time since we've been in the competition, and all of them have been reasonable.
Mm,
All of them have been reasonable contests. But this one, I think, will be again. But yeah, I'm reasonably confident that we can get the job done. If we don't put up a good effort and lose by, I mean, if it's just a close game, we lose getting a close one. It'll probably just be what it is. But if we lose by anything more than a few points, if not win, then it'll come down to us probably letting ourselves down. I think. I just don't. I think us at our best are going to give it a good shake, and I have reasonable
I
confidence that we
agree.
can win it. Yeah. Yeah, look forward to it once again this Sunday, the 7th of September, 4:35 p.m. local here in South Australia on your TVs. Obviously, if you're out there, get out there. A reminder: if you do have a membership and you happen to be out west, your membership gets you in for every, like, I think as long as there's like they've got the capacity, if you can walk up with your game membership and get into an away game as well. You just have to go into your tickets and it'll be there. I know every time I look, I can see away games in there as well with mine. So
Hmm.
there's really no excuse, and I'm sure the Port fans out west who do represent us pretty well out
Yeah,
there.
I'm sure Monty Chiquito will be out showing his support for our girls, and yeah, the WA crew again, they represent well. So I believe, like you said, our three games so far against West Coast have all been in Perths, and our Port Adelaide Western Australia supporter group have showed up. So uh, weather permitting, it'd be nice to see them out there in force and see a few WA supporter flags waving around for Port Adelaide.
100%. Yeah, get around them. I think that's about it for the. You got anything else on that, or you're just looking forward to getting to the weekend and watching the game?
Yeah, I'm keen. Obviously, Sunday's a very busy day for me, being
Mm.
Father's Day and a brother's 18th birthday. So I don't
Oh,
know how much I'm actually going to be able to watch live, but
happy birthday!
I shall be. That will be Jacob's
Oh, okay.
18th birthday, brother Jacob.
The one I haven't
Um,
met. But happy birthday, Jacob.
brother Jacob. Shout out to him. 18th, never to be forgotten. First legal beverage.
Well, if it's
Having
like
dinner
mine, it did
at
get
the
forgotten the rest.
Williamstown pub is where we're having dinner for those playing at home. Um,
Well, if you want to go say happy birthday to Jacob,
yeah. Williamstown pub Sunday. Be there or be square. Yeah, no, but I don't know how much I'm going to be able to watch live. I'll be checking the scores and
yeah,
obviously getting a replay in before we review on Tuesday night. But
yeah, no,
nah,
same for me to be honest. I
looking
and
forward to
I
it.
hate missing them live, but being that it's Father's Day and my mum messaged me and said, What are we doing?" I said, "Look, I'll be watching the game if there's nothing on, but if you want to plan something, I will be there, obviously." So, and she said, "Yeah, we're going to do dinner at the house." I said, "Yeah, sure, I can watch the replay later. That's fine, Mum." So that's what you've got to do.
Nice.
So yeah, and obviously my family being of the other side's persuasion, they were certainly not going to be like, "Oh yeah, no, we'll watch the Port game with you." So, so yeah, but happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Certainly to you, Jamie. We'll keep in touch over the weekend anyway.
Thank
But
you.
yeah, enjoy it. If you're a Port fan, get around your dad and let him sit down and watch the game on Sunday afternoon. Make sure the drinking hand is kept filled and enjoy it. Yeah, that's about it from us. If you're a Patreon listener, stick around. You'll hear a little bit more. But if you're not and you're listening to this on the main feeds, uh, go sign up for Patreon. Patreon.com/the Creed 1870. We'll have a little bit more of a chat about a few other things on there at the back end of this episode. But thank you for listening, as always. We love getting around the AFLW side and pushing into the season as we really get into the guts of it now. So, yeah, Khan the Lady Pair.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Love your support. Go to the Lady Pair.